Consumer Reports just shook the truck world, and Ford, GM, and Ram felt every bit of it. No hype, no fanboy bias, just cold data, real-world testing, and one headline that hit like a thunderclap. 5 trucks rose to the top, and not all the usual bragging rights survived the fallout. This wasn't about who looks toughest in a commercial. This was about reliability, owner satisfaction, ride quality, fuel efficiency, and the stuff you actually live with every day. First shocker right out of the gate. Ford didn't dominate the list the way everyone expected. Strong showing, yes, but Consumer Reports made it clear that raw power alone doesn't win anymore. Smooth drivetrains, smart tech, and long-term dependability mattered more than bragging about tow numbers nobody uses on a Tuesday morning. That set the tone fast. Then came the mid-size segment, where one truck flat out embarrassed bigger names. Consumer Reports praised balanced handling, excellent predicted reliability, and a cabin that feels more premium than its price tag suggests. This was the kind of win that makes buyers rethink spending extra money just to park a bigger badge in the driveway. Practical beat macho, and the data backed it up. GM fans had mixed emotions next. One GM truck earned serious respect for ride comfort and smart engineering, especially when it came to everyday driving. Consumer Reports highlighted how it feels less like a work tool and more like a refined daily driver, without giving up truck capability. But at the same time, another GM favorite quietly slipped, flagged for reliability concerns that couldn't be ignored. That contrast hit hard. Ram's moment was impossible to miss. One Ram truck landed squarely among the winners, and Consumer Reports didn't hold back on the praise. Best in class ride comfort, interior quality that feels almost unfair for a pickup, and owner satisfaction numbers that told a simple story. People who buy it don't want to give it up. That's the kind of endorsement money can't buy. And then came the real bombshell, the truck that no one saw coming, especially not legacy truck loyalists. Consumer Reports crowned it a standout for efficiency, reliability, and overall value, calling it one of the smartest truck purchases you can make right now. Not the biggest, not the loudest, just brutally effective at what most truck owners actually need. By the time Consumer Reports wrapped up their rankings, the message was crystal clear. The truck game has changed. Winning isn't about chest-thumping ads anymore. It's about engineering discipline, long-term ownership, and delivering real-world performance without headaches. Ford, GM, and Ram all had reasons to celebrate and reasons to sweat, because these 5 winning trucks just reset expectations, and the ripple effects are only starting to show as buyers begin asking a very different question when they walk onto a dealer lot and start comparing what really matters versus what they've been told to care about, especially as prices climb and consumers get smarter about where their money actually goes when the truck in front of them promises everything but has to prove it once the paperwork is signed and the honeymoon period fades, and the real test of ownership begins with how these trucks hold up when the excitement wears off and the miles start piling on. That's where Consumer Reports really twists the knife, because their data doesn't care about brand loyalty. It tracks what breaks, what annoys owners 6 months in, and what still feels solid years down the road. And when you line those numbers up, some long-standing assumptions collapse fast. Bigger engines didn't equal better scores. Flashier screens didn't save trucks with clunky interfaces. And aggressive styling meant nothing if the suspension beat you up on a daily commute. Ford's situation got especially interesting here. One of their trucks earned praise for efficiency and smart hybrid engineering, proving Ford can innovate when it wants to. Consumer Reports highlighted how this setup delivers real fuel savings without sacrificing usefulness, a combo that resonated with buyers who actually use their trucks as daily transportation. But at the same time, lingering reliability questions kept Ford from sweeping the category, reminding everyone that innovation only wins when it holds up over time. GM's response felt like a tale of 2 strategies. One winning truck showed that GM knows exactly how to tune a chassis for comfort while keeping it capable, earning high marks for ride quality and road manners. Consumer Reports even noted how it reduces driver fatigue, which matters way more than people admit. But another GM model lagged behind, dragged down by concerns that simply didn't match the competition's consistency. Ram, meanwhile, leaned hard into refinement, and it paid off. Consumer Reports emphasized how their winning truck almost feels like cheating the system, combining luxury-level comfort with truck utility, quiet cabin, confident handling, seats that make long drives feel shorter. Owners noticed, and the satisfaction scores reflected it loud and clear. What really stung the established players, though, was how Consumer Reports framed value. One of the 5 winning trucks didn't just score well, it made others look overpriced. Lower ownership ownership costs, strong reliability projections, and fewer compromises turned it into a silent disruptor, the kind of truck that doesn't shout but steadily steals buyers who used to default to the big three without thinking twice. And that's the warning shot buried inside this bombshell. Consumer Reports isn't predicting the future, they're showing what's already happening. Buyers are prioritizing comfort, dependability, and efficiency over outdated ideas of toughness. These 5 trucks didn't win because they were the loudest in the room. They won because they made the most sense when the numbers were done, the surveys were tallied, and the real-world driving began, setting up a shift that could force every major truck brand to rethink how they design, price, and market their next generation, especially as competition tightens and consumers become less forgiving, more informed, and far more willing to walk past familiar badges if another truck quietly proves it can deliver a better ownership experience mile after mile. That shift is already showing up on dealer lots, even if the ads haven't caught up yet. Salespeople are hearing different questions now, not just how much can it tow, but how does it ride every day, and what's the reliability looking like long term? Consumer Reports didn't just rank trucks, they rewired the conversation, and that's what makes this bombshell so powerful. Ford loyalists are feeling that tension the most. Brand pride runs deep, but Consumer Reports pointed out that consistency matters more than legacy. One Ford truck impressed with smart packaging and efficiency, yet buyers are being cautioned to look past the badge and focus on ownership costs and reliability trends. That kind of language carries weight, especially when shoppers know Consumer Reports has no reason to sugarcoat the truth. GM faces a different challenge. Their winning truck proves they absolutely know how to build a comfortable, capable pickup when everything clicks. Consumer Reports praise the balance, the road feel, and the refinement, but the inconsistency across the lineup creates hesitation. Buyers are now comparing within the brand instead of blindly trusting it, and that internal comparison is where cracks start to show. Ram's success sends a loud message of its own. Comfort isn't a luxury anymore, it's a requirement. Consumer Reports made it clear that once drivers experience that smooth ride and upscale interior, it's hard to go back. That puts pressure on every other manufacturer to catch up, because comfort directly affects owner satisfaction, and satisfaction drives loyalty more than horsepower ever did. And hovering over all of this is that unexpected winner, the truck that nailed efficiency, dependability, and usability without trying to dominate every category. Consumer Reports framed it as the thinking person's truck, the one that doesn't overpromise but consistently delivers. That framing hits hard in a market where prices are climbing and buyers are tired of paying extra for features that don't improve daily life. The real takeaway here isn't just which trucks won, it's why they won. Consumer Reports rewarded balance, discipline, and real-world livability. These 5 trucks forced Ford, GM, and Ram into the same uncomfortable spotlight, where marketing claims are stripped away and only performance over time matters. And as this information spreads, as more buyers dig into the data instead of the commercials, the pressure on every truck brand is going to intensify. Because once consumers realize they have better options than they were led to believe, there's no going back to buying on reputation alone, especially when the next purchase could cost more than some houses did a decade ago, and expectations have never been higher, pushing this entire segment toward a reckoning that's only just beginning. That reckoning is exactly what makes this moment so fascinating, because Consumer Reports didn't just highlight winners, they exposed patterns that show which brands are adapting and which ones are clinging to old formulas. Trucks that focused on daily usability surged ahead, while models built around outdated priorities quietly slid down the rankings. It's a reality check the industry can't ignore. Ford's engineers clearly see the writing on the wall, but Consumer Reports suggest execution is still uneven. When Ford gets it right, the truck feels modern, efficient, and genuinely smart. But when corners show up in long-term data, it undercuts all that innovation. Buyers are being told, indirectly but clearly, to be selective, and that's a dangerous position for a brand that once relied on blanket trust. GM's lesson is just as sharp. One standout proves the company understands how to blend comfort and capability better than ever before. Consumer Reports even emphasized how refined it feels in stop-and-go traffic, where most trucks spend the majority of their lives. But reliability flags on other models keep dragging the brand into a conversation it would rather avoid, forcing shoppers to scrutinize trim levels and powertrains instead of buying with confidence. Ram's rise reinforces a simple truth: experience matters. Consumer Reports didn't just praise specs, they praised how the truck makes people feel after hours behind the wheel. That emotional satisfaction, backed by solid data is powerful. It turns test drives into sales, and sales into long-term loyalty, something every manufacturer is chasing right now. And looming behind all of them is that efficient, no-nonsense winner that quietly redefined value. Consumer Reports positioned it as proof that you don't need excess to get excellence. Less drama, fewer compromises, strong scores across the board. That kind of balance is becoming the new gold standard, especially as buyers rethink what they actually need versus what they've been sold. This is where the pressure really ramps up. These 5 trucks didn't just win awards, they reset expectations. Ford, GM, and Ram now have to respond, not with louder ads, but with better engineering and stronger long-term results. Because once Consumer Reports shifts buyer perception, it sticks. And as more people cross-shop with fresh eyes, armed with data instead of loyalty, the truck market is heading into a phase where reputation alone won't carry anyone, and every mile driven, every repair avoided, and every comfortable commute becomes part of a much bigger story that's still unfolding and about to get even more intense as new models arrive and consumers start asking even harder questions about who truly deserves their money. Those harder questions are already changing how people shop, and Consumer Reports is right at the center of it. Buyers are comparing predicted reliability scores the same way they used to compare horsepower. They're looking at owner surveys instead of just window stickers. And when they see the same 5 trucks consistently rise to the top, it creates momentum that marketing departments can't easily stop. Ford's challenge now is maintaining trust in a space where trust is being measured numerically. Consumer Reports praised certain Ford innovations, especially in efficiency and smart design, but also made it clear that inconsistency can erase goodwill fast. One weak data point can overshadow a dozen strong features, and buyers are noticing that more than ever. GM is being forced into self-competition. When one GM truck earns high marks for comfort and road manners, it raises uncomfortable questions about why others in the lineup can't match that same level of polish. Consumer Reports doesn't let those differences slide, and neither do informed shoppers who are cross-shopping trims and powertrains with spreadsheets instead of emotions. Ram's position is strong, but it comes with expectations. Consumer Reports set a high bar for ride quality and interior comfort, and once customers experience that level of refinement, they expect it to last. Long-term reliability becomes the next proving ground, and Ram knows that maintaining those satisfaction scores is just as important as earning them, and still that efficient, quietly dominant truck keeps stealing the spotlight. Consumer Reports framed it as the rational choice in an emotional market. It doesn't try to win with excess, it wins with consistency. That message resonates deeply with buyers who are tired of paying premium prices for features that don't improve daily ownership. What makes this bombshell so disruptive is its timing. Prices are high, interest rates matter, buyers can't afford mistakes anymore. Consumer Reports stepped in with clarity when confusion was growing, and those 5 winning trucks now serve as reference points for the entire segment. Every new model that launches will be compared against them, whether the manufacturers like it or not, pushing the industry toward a future where promises must survive long-term ownership, real-world wear, and the unforgiving lens of consumer data. A future that's still unfolding and setting the stage for even bigger shakeups just ahead as the next wave of trucks prepares to enter a market that's no longer buying into hype and is demanding proof. That demand for proof is the real headline here, because once consumers start expecting it, there's no rewind button. Consumer Reports has essentially turned truck ownership into a long-term performance review, and those 5 winners are the benchmark everyone else has to chase. Every squeak, every software glitch, every uncomfortable drive suddenly matters more than ever. Ford is under the microscope now, not because it failed, but because expectations are sky high. Consumer Reports showed that when Ford nails efficiency and smart tech, it can absolutely compete, but buyers are being nudged to look beyond first impressions and ask how those systems hold up after years of use. That kind of scrutiny forces better engineering, or exposes weaknesses fast. GM is facing a moment of truth of its own. One standout truck proves the company knows how to deliver comfort and everyday drivability at a high level. Consumer Reports practically challenged GM to replicate that success across the lineup. Until that happens, buyers are treating each model as a separate bet instead of trusting the badge as a whole. Ram's advantage is emotional connection. Consumer Reports validated what many owners already felt. The ride quality and interior comfort changed the entire ownership experience. But that emotional edge only lasts if the data continues to support it. Reliability trends will decide whether Ram keeps climbing or stalls under its own success. success. And that efficient, value-focused winner keeps redefining what a smart truck looks like. Consumer Reports positioned it as the antidote to excess. Fewer headaches, lower costs, better long-term satisfaction. In a market where trucks are starting to feel like luxury purchases, that simplicity is becoming a powerful weapon. The ripple effects are just beginning. Online forums are buzzing. Buyers are second-guessing assumptions. Sales numbers are being watched closely. These 5 winning trucks didn't just earn praise. They triggered a mindset shift. And as that shift grows, manufacturers are going to feel pressure not just to impress on day one, but to prove themselves every single mile after that, because in this new era of truck buying, credibility is earned slowly, lost quickly, and the next round of Consumer Reports data could change everything all over again. That possibility, everything changing again, is what has the industry on edge, because Consumer Reports doesn't care about excuses, delays, or next year promises. It measures what's on the road right now, being driven, owned, and lived with. And those 5 trucks didn't win by accident. They earned it mile by mile. Ford is clearly in a transition phase, and Consumer Reports made that obvious without saying it outright. The brand shows flashes of brilliance, especially where efficiency and modern design intersect, but buyers are being reminded that consistency is the real goal. One strong model can't carry an entire lineup anymore, not when data is this transparent. GM's pressure is different, but just as intense. When Consumer Reports praises one GM truck for refinement and comfort, it implicitly asks why that level of quality isn't universal. Shoppers notice. They start comparing GM models against each other instead of against competitors, and that internal comparison can be brutal. Ram's success story comes with a warning label. High satisfaction scores raise expectations, and Consumer Reports will be watching closely to see if that comfort and refinement hold up over time. When a brand becomes known for ride quality, any slip becomes headline material, and still that quietly dominant truck continues to loom over the segment. Consumer Reports framed it as proof that smart design beats excess every time. It doesn't chase extremes, it just works. And it keeps working. That message hits hardest in a market where buyers are calculating long-term costs instead of chasing temporary thrills. This is where the next chapter starts. Manufacturers now have a clear blueprint for what wins: balance, reliability, comfort, and value. But knowing the formula and executing it are 2 very different things. As new models roll out and updates hit the streets, Consumer Reports will be there, collecting data, tracking owner feedback, and reshaping perceptions all over again. Because in this truck market, victory isn't permanent, reputations are fragile, and the next surprise could be right around the corner, waiting to rewrite the rankings once more as consumers keep watching, comparing, and demanding more than ever before. And that next surprise is what makes this moment truly pivotal. Consumer Reports has done more than hand out rankings. They've redefined what it means to succeed in the truck market. The 5 winners aren't just good trucks. They're proof that long-term thinking, thoughtful engineering, and everyday usability matter far more than horsepower, aggressive styling, or legacy reputation. Buyers are starting to see the difference, and manufacturers are paying attention. Ford's challenge now is bridging the gap between innovation and consistency. The data shows promise, particularly in areas like efficiency, hybrid powertrains, and smart interior layouts. But Consumer Reports highlighted that even minor reliability issues can overshadow technological advances. For Ford, it's a clear message. Innovate, yes, but make sure that innovation survives real-world use. One breakthrough model won't protect the brand if the rest of the lineup can't deliver the same dependability. GM faces a slightly different dilemma. One of their trucks has proven that they understand the recipe for comfort, ride quality, and driver satisfaction, yet the broader lineup hasn't fully kept pace. That inconsistency is now visible, and consumers notice. When one model outshines another in the same family, it forces buyers to scrutinize trims and options more than ever, adding pressure on GM to standardize the winning traits across its trucks, or risk losing loyal customers to competitors who already deliver. Ram, meanwhile, has a strong foothold thanks to its winning combination of comfort and refinement. Consumer Reports confirmed what owners have been saying for years. Ride quality and interior experience can be as important as towing capacity or payload, but success comes with expectations. Ram now has to maintain those high satisfaction scores, because even one misstep in reliability or build quality could undo years of goodwill. The real disruptor, however, remains that efficient, quietly dominant truck. Consumer Reports praised it for excelling in all the areas that truly matter to owners: reliability, value, usability, reliability, and everyday performance. It's not flashy, it doesn't make headlines with raw power, yet it sets a benchmark that the entire segment now has to chase. It's a reminder that smart engineering and practical design can outperform sheer size or reputation, reshaping the way buyers evaluate trucks for years to come. The broader impact of these rankings is already becoming clear. Dealers are seeing more informed shoppers asking about long-term reliability, predicted maintenance costs, and real-world efficiency, not just towing numbers or engine specs. Online communities and review forums are buzzing with comparisons of these 5 winning trucks, further amplifying the Consumer Report's findings. This isn't just a shift in rankings, it's a cultural change in how trucks are chosen. As the industry responds, expect upcoming models to reflect these lessons. Balance, dependability, comfort, and value are no longer optional, they are mandatory. Every major manufacturer now knows that success isn't measured by flashy advertisements alone. Consumer Reports has shown that the true test is long-term ownership experience, and the winners have set the bar high. Future buyers will expect not just capability, but confidence that their truck will perform reliably and comfortably over years of use. In conclusion, this bombshell from Consumer Reports is more than a rankings list. It's a wake-up call for the truck industry. Ford, GM, and Ram each have lessons to learn, while the 5 winning trucks redefine what buyers should prioritize. For shoppers, it's an unprecedented opportunity. The data is clear, the comparisons are transparent, and the winners are proven. The truck market is evolving fast, and the ripple effects of these rankings will shape buying decisions, engineering priorities, and even marketing strategies for years to come. One thing is certain, the conversation about trucks has changed forever, and anyone serious about getting the most value, comfort, and reliability from their next vehicle needs to pay attention to what Consumer Reports just revealed.